Okay, welcome to the stream, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm just unmuting my mic before I get over here to switch the camera. I'm not going to stay at the starting soon for the usual 5 minutes. And there we go. There's a few reasons for that, at least for today. One of them being it's Ohio weather where I'm from, because that's where I'm from, is Ohio. For anybody that's missed this old plate over here, yes, it's from one of my old cars, so it's not like I'm a license plate collector or anything like that. But here in Ohio, for whatever reason, it's like our third or fourth winter. I've been sick twice in the last 2 weeks, which is a lot for me. I'm usually only get sick like once a year anymore as an adult, and I've been sick twice already, and very close together, which is upsetting for me because I don't like being out of commission that much. But anyways, yesterday in my delusion of not feeling well, I got home and I started messing with this computer right here. So I actually spent about 2.5 hours with this machine, getting it from its old broken case into this one. It's pretty much identical, just the other one was the model right before this with the 600 megahertz celeron. This one's got the 733, which we did have. I had the 733 megahertz celeron, and I put that in there, and then I transferred it over to the new case, and everything went pretty well. And I was doing it directly to Facebook instead of just YouTube, because I hadn't have everything on this new computer set up for YouTube yet. Obviously, I do now, but anyways, I did that, and I never hit like, hey, start the stream, or I never did any of that. So I spent 2.5 hours thinking I was showing you guys how to build this, but it turned out all I did was spend 2.5 hours just working on it, and not really getting a chance to show anything that I managed to get done. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually check this thing out. We actually have a working network card, so I'll jump into Internet Explorer and show you guys some of the neat things that you can do, because there's a whole community around restoring these old PCs and getting them up and running. And I don't know, just going back through this whole experience again has just been, it's been good for me to take a step back to computers and remember what they were. So let me go ahead and hit the fire up button here, and I want to switch over to the video cap so you guys can actually get this experience with me, starting up old school Windows. So here we go. Oh, it's so glorious. Look at it in all of its 1990. It has a graphical loading screen for being a old Pentium 3 era machine. Now, it did take a little bit of back and forth with this machine. We are running off the original old spinny hard drive, but oh yeah, virus scan. Anyways, until it's all the way ready to rock and roll here. Yeah, but after finally fiddling with it, trying out a couple different CD-ROM drives, the network card luckily is the one that it already had in there, and it wasn't a modem. I have literally a box full of 56K modems. It's like I got donated a bunch of these older machines, and you can definitely tell the era that they were popular in, because I think this, it's funny that the oldest one here, I guess most of them had LAN ports built onto the motherboard because they were new enough, but this machine here was the oldest one. It's the only one that had a network card. A bunch of them did have 56K modems in them, which I don't even know how you do that. Can you still even dial up to an I'm sure somebody has like a 56K net that they build up for whatever reason. I don't know. I know there's a serial to Wi-Fi that you can get, and there's like stuff that you can do to adapt these machines to get on the internet, but check it out. Oh, and all of its nostalgic glory, man. I'm going to shut some of these programs down. I want to upgrade it to 512 megs of RAM eventually, but I'm going to try to control my spending here a little bit on this machine. Obviously, it's old. It's 30 years old or better. You know what I mean? It's like 98. So that's what, 2008 was 10 years. 2018 was 20 years. 2028 will be its 30-year mark. So it's almost 30 years old. It's coming up on it. Yeah, so it's old enough to be my girlfriend. That Brittany, I wasn't being serious. I'm just kidding. But people probably think that as into computers and electronics as I am. It's just it's like a brain exercise. Any of you guys get really into doing like crossword puzzles and stuff like that, and I guess computers is kind of that way for me. I get really into and focused into solving their little quirks and stuff, and it's funny because I want people to have computers so they can do more things with their life and experience these things, and one of my things is, well, you could watch all your movies and you could play games, and it's funny when you get into doing these videos and you get into actually like dealing with them every day, and it's like that's usually even when I could be in here sitting and watching movies and playing games, man, the wheels are turning now. They're always a turning. So I have the workshop in a little bit more order, especially we can get capture from old VGA devices, which I'm super stoked about that. So pretty much anything within the last 30 years, if you need it fixed or repaired, I can probably handle it. You might not want an old computer to play your old school games on, but there's as many games for old Windows as there is for like old school Nintendo and Sega, and there were some really good old PC games that deserve to be preserved, and remakes can only do so much for recreating that OG experience. And there is a Windows 98 emulator out there that is really good, but you just can't beat the OG experience on original hardware. So I should probably drop my camera view in here too with you guys. Give me just a hot second here for me to walk around. I'm going to add my camera view to the thing here. Okay, we're going to add source, video capture. There we go. There I am. And then I'm just going to bring this down like so. And I don't want to block the Windows 98 screen, so there we go. Now the delay might be well, I guess you won't be able to tell there's a delay. So there you go. All right, Windows 98. There we are. So now you can see me, you can see Windows 98, you can see me interacting with Windows 98. So one of the things that I did notice, I got to walk back around here and check one more again. All right, we got a signal light on the network cards. So this network card is very old school, very Windows 98-ish. If I unplug it and plug it back in, it won't give me a new IP address or anything. I have to shut the computer down and restart it to get a new IP address. So with it already being an old slow machine, that is not cool, man. But surprisingly enough, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, there is a whole community of people out there keeping these retro computers up and running. So as you see here, most of the modern internet has all been taken over by Web3 and JavaScript and HTML5, and that's fine. You know, modern websites provide a lot of functionality. A lot of cool stuff is done on the internet now as opposed to what it was in this day and age. And one of the biggest things in this day and age that was really the issue for a lot of people was memory. Just desktops didn't have the kind of memory to be loading in a bunch of stuff from the internet. So like most of our internet searches were conducted in one browser. You know, today where you have a million tabs open, that wasn't a thing. Like you had one Internet Explorer and you went from window to window, and every once in a while maybe you would load a second window, maybe. And if you didn't, you just had a bunch of windows open, which eat your memory real fast. And the thing about older machines, they did have something to cope with that. It's called virtual memory. But the thing about virtual memory is it uses like the physical hard drive as RAM. And the problem with that is these old hard drives, I mean, the spinning hard drives, everybody I think already knows in this day and age. This is an IDE, so this is probably even slower. So ATA had 133 megahertz bus, so, 13 megabytes was like the max you could get, and on a spinning disk, maybe, I doubt it. But anyways, even SATA here, where you go up to 6 gigabytes a second. So on this one, it has the other problem. So like even though you increase the link speed, then you're limited by the physical disks that actually have to spin in the head that has to go seeking for it. And especially on these really old hard drives. This thing has a 20 gigabyte hard drive. So I'm trying to keep it very minimal. The load times have been really good, but you can notice weird graphical things, especially going through the capture card here. Like if I go to move a window too quick or something, you can see the dinosaur down there. He causes glitches too. You see the window, because it's definitely not being drawn at 60 hertz. I doubt it's even 60 FPS. Even on the desktop, it looks like they had an ATI Rage PCI graphics card in here at one point, because that ATI software that runs, because that's definitely, it says 11 megabytes dedicated to video memory, which means the Celeron, and I don't think they had an integrated graphics, so I think this is all software rendered, which is one of the reasons why the graphics feel kind of slow. So I have a PCI graphics card coming for this, as well as a 128 gigabyte SSD, SATA to IDE adapter, a few other things. I spent like $40. Not a whole lot. There are more upgrades that I want to get for this machine, but I figured, like I said, I'd control my spending, put out some live content, and we're even going to get a pre-recorded video out of this, just because I have had some fun. So back to the community, right? That's probably dinner's ready. Hold on a second. Okay, so I hope that worked the way I wanted it to. I can't really see from here. I changed the monitor around, and I hope that worked the way I wanted it to, and it muted my mic. Hello? Yeah, okay. Cool. I promise this will get more streamlined as time goes on. Normally I have all this equipment hooked into my laptop, but I've had this mini Ryzen PC for a few weeks as I've been doing a video for it. And the thing that I've discovered is, even with not a dedicated GPU, it's plenty for this kind of content. Like, I'm not using it to render video games, so like even right now with it running this camera, the video inputs and all that stuff, the CPU's at like 30% utilization, which is not a lot. So I'm like, I'm just going to hook my stream setup into that mini PC, and that's just going to be the stream commander, and it's worked out well. Anyways, so the community behind retro computing is kick-ass, because you can still get these on the internet, which is crazy, right? We're looking at this. We see it here. It says No, go away. Ouch, the new internet hurts me so. But the cool thing about it is there are people out there running web servers that still serve out files in HTML2 format. So if we go to 68k.news, I believe it is. There we go. This is pretty much like Google Headlines, but it's been reworked to, they've basically dumbed the HTML down. It automatically does it through a script and then feeds it back out. And the other cool part about this is there's another guy on YouTube. His name is Action Retro, or it's weird when you talk about like a guy that has a YouTube channel. I don't know. I guess his name's Sean. Sean from Action Retro. If you catch wind of this, man, I'm a big fan. Anyways, he also runs a web server, which is probably even more useful than this. So we can actually get on here, and these are all very current. You know, they had the George Santos. Yeah, cool. Yep, the Ukraine war. Yep, see, February 24, 2023 at 5:31 p.m. So yeah, you can still get on here, and you see it's basic. You know, it goes in and just pulls the text out. But you know, I might even use this on my desktop PC, and the reason for that is have you went to like look for news, especially news, and not so much things that have been existed for a while, but news especially. A lot of pages load so many ads. You only get like this much of a block of text, and then ads. This much block of a text, or click a button, go to the next page, so they can load a bunch more ads. And like, you know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're maximizing their Google Ads revenue, which is, you know, cool. That's great. But you have to think, man. There's people that are loading these pages and stuff. It's not just like all random robots and algorithms, man. You know what I mean? Like, actual people have to load them for you to get paid. And just some of these sites are just, they're doing a little too much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's even to the point now where people have it ingrained in their brain that these things are supposed to be there on a web page to make it legit. And that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't want to see ads for the legitimacy of a web page. That is just not, that's not it, man. You know what I mean? Like, that just screams to me, oh, they want to sell everything I do on this site. If like, everything you do on anything is an analytic somewhere. You know what I mean? So like, you just know it's a breeding ground because they're trying to see, oh, this is a new story, how many people are clicking on it, how many people are bitching about it in the comments, like, and it does go that in depth. You know, 20 years ago when the internet was first coming out, a lot of people would have just put that by the wayside. But now it's the majority, not the minority, doing this kind of stuff. So it has to really make you want to take a look. You got to take a step back, like, oh no. This comes without all that stuff, all the ads and stuff. You still get download links. There are still links to images. Obviously, they have to be in a format that this thing supports, which has to be pretty much bitmap or JPEG, and I'm not even sure up to what resolution this can even decode JPEG files. So that's kind of up in the air. But 68K News, you get all your news without all the fluff. And then the guy, Sean from Action Retro, he runs a website called FrogFind. And I have it here in the favorites, actually. I'm just going to use the favorites. But if you go to www.frogfind.com or these old browsers, you see in the browser address, it says frogfind.com. But if I try to put that in, it tells me, no, I don't like that. So you either have to put in the whole http://frogfind.com/. You have to type it in just like you see it in the address bar. Or just put in the www and it'll find it through discovery. And that's just the way these older browsers were. It's taken a long time for people to catch on to the fact that www doesn't have to be there. It's just kind of a marker for another subdomain. The www meaning the world or what the public sees. So older browsers are kind of programmed in such a way where they want to see that www sometimes. It's not everything. Google found a way around it because you can. That's how I found FrogFind. I actually Googled it. Yeah, like because I've been watching these retro videos, right, and I'm like, cool. So this is the first website I tried to go to. Nothing. So I'm so glad that I was actually able to type in, because nothing else loads, you know what I mean? Like it even has this Yahoo stuff built into the browser. It doesn't, none of this stuff matters, man. It's all dead. It's been dead. The regular yahoo.com, I think Yahoo does still exist, but probably like a lot of other things on the internet, it's been replaced by JavaScript stuff. So you see the little dinosaur walking around down there on the thing? You can pick him up, and you can even like right click him and do neat stuff to him. You can x-ray him, which that looks like electrocution to me, but you can capture him with a little net, and then it like carries him off. And you say, oh no, get back here with my dinosaur. Little applications like this, man. Like, what happened to stuff like that, man? You know, like we all used to I know I had like the dancing pole girl, ooh la la, you know, people thought that was silly, but that was like the thing. And now we have all this AI and neat stuff. You figure there'd be like an AI companion that could do this similar function and actually be interactive instead of having all this pre-programmed nonsense. But I like him. I was going to close old Spino, the Spinosaurus, but you see him peek out the corner there. I like it. You know what I mean? It's adds to the nostalgia of this machine, and I'm super stoked that this stuff's installed on here. You can see on the desktop, we've got just so much. Nicktoons Racing, a bunch of Clifford the Dog stuff, Nicktoons Basketball, Jimmy Neutron something, Pokemon Team Turbo, and I don't see any, like, I went into My Documents folder, there's no pictures, there's no documents, there's no downloads, there's like 1 or 2 MP3 files on this machine. So if I had to wager a guess, somebody was also using this just as like, we bought these games when this computer was new, we're going to keep playing these games, and they must have formatted it or done something at some time, and they just like installed every single game CD they had. And I'm okay with that, because a lot of these ISOs I've actually been able to find on oldgamedownloads.com. So anyways, wife's calling me. I just wanted to do a quick thing. This won't be my normal few-hour bit, because I've already done that yesterday when I forgot to hit the stream button because I'm an idiot. So, but I'm so glad that I got on here at least for a few minutes. This weekend, I got to go pick up a machine from my brother. My nephew's PC needs some repair, so I got to go pick that up. Aaron, if you're watching, I haven't forgot. I had to come straight home after work. Brittany had some running she had to go do. So now that I'm done with this, I'm going to go eat. I'm going to get a hold of you on Facebook, and I'm going to come pick up that computer. And who knows, that's probably what I'll be doing here. We have a nice new top-down view as well. I haven't switched to it because I haven't bothered putting it up because everything's done already. I can't really get to the inside of this machine very easily, and even when you do manage to get the outer box off, the ribbon cables and everything kind of block your thing. I'm kind of upset because I'd really had some really nice shots of the motherboard that's like pretty much pristine in this thing. It's like no dust, the capacitors look really good, it starts up, it boots, so I went ahead and got it in SSD, so hopefully I have a 98 install too, so hopefully we can do a fresh install. I don't mind this stuff on here, but there's a bunch of like weird drivers, and so like, because obviously I took out the 56, it had a 56K modem and sound card combo. What a thing. See, that's the thing, old 56K, that's how they work, that's how they did the digital analog conversion. You might remember, you know, if you picked up the phone back then, a lot of you young people won't remember this, but for anybody that's 30 years old or better, might remember, you know, 20 years ago or so, before DSL got real big, you'd go pick up the phone, and you'd get that, all that crap. And that's what that was, is it turned the signals into sound, and the sound is, it's just like an old Commodore 64 or a really, really old computer, how they had tape drives, and you had to put the tape in, and then you had to hit play, and then you had to hit load, and then you had to wait for the tape to seek, but the little connector was just a little headphone piece. But if you plug that in, it's sound. If you listen to one of the sound files, it sounds just like a modem. And that's a really clever way of doing digital to analog conversion, man. You know what I mean? Like turning it into sound. That's just ingenious. So it led to really something really neat that I've never seen before. I've seen modems and I've seen sound cards, but I've never seen a combination modem sound card. So I really wish we had like something that I could dial it into, but even so, even if there was, I don't have phone service here, so it'd be like null and void. I'd effectively have to do the equivalent of like throwing out a spool of cable and running it to like a place with the phone line, and then have equipment that could actually serve as like a pseudo telephone network to dial the computer on the other side, because it's got to serve dial tone, right? You can't just put two telephone cables on a computer and have them dial each other. It doesn't work that way. So anyways, I've droned on good enough. I hope you like this short little bit. Definitely look forward to more Windows 98 content. I do want to do a longer stream sometime, hopefully over the weekend. We can actually plug this in and we can game on it a little bit. I really want to try some of the Nicktoons stuff. I was really big into that when it was new. And you could only get it on PC. It was the weirdest stuff. Definitely no substitute for like Mario Kart and that stuff, but it still held its own, man. It was pretty cool. Some of this stuff was pretty cool. So I saw some THQ stuff on there and some other things. The Pokemon game, definitely want to check that out. So stay tuned to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this bit. I'm going to go and eat spaghetti. Y'all stay cool.